Would you say you have control over your phone or the phone has control over you?
If someone were to take away my phone today, I might not know what to do.
I would love to say that I have control over my phone. Do I have control?
I feel like my phone owns me.
My phone used to have control over me.
Society tells us that, you're not okay. You're just not okay. No matter what you do, there's always something better.
Everything is really a competition anymore on social media.
This is who I want to be and who I want to be seen as.
That creates a denial of inside yourself.
This is so stimulating. It feels so real.
Oh, well, who liked it? Click on it, and then I'd be on in a Twitter hole for hours.
What picture I'm posting? How many likes am I gonna get? Am I gonna get bullied for posting this picture of me? Am I gonna get insulted, mocked?
There haven't been enough studies to see how it psychologically affects.
It gives you that immediate gratification. Those chemicals get released, and you go back for more and more.
Should have done something better with my life than just being with my phone.
They're not actors. That's their real life, and you wish you were involved.
We're running a social skills group here because they lose that connection.
Socially, I'm not connecting with people, even though online it looks like I am.
It would be as easy as just deleting the apps, but I just don't do it.
I got my first cell phone in middle school, 2006. I was 12.
I think I got my first phone when I was 12 years old.
Maybe like 14, 15. It was like a $20 phone.
I was probably like in middle school whenever I got a phone, maybe 11, and my parents gave me the phone as a safety precaution.
So I didn't actually want a cell phone when I first got one. My mom bought it for me. I was involved in a lot of clubs and organizations, and she couldn't keep track of me, so she bought one so that she could text me every day and figure out where I was.
Back then, social media wasn't even that big, and I didn't even think a lot of people had internet in their phones, so it was more for calling my parents.
From my parents' perspective, it was like a safety, just if something happened in school or something. But I wanted the phone to talk to my friends, not my parents.
Right now in the society that we live in, owning a phone is a necessary thing. You really can't do anything without it. Like, that's how you meet with your friends, that's how you basically are connected with your social network. I think it's a necessary thing.
Social media is a big way I use my phone.
For me, social media has been like all kinds of things. Growing up, kind of a way to learn how to be like myself, how to be a teenager, how to be an American, like all of those things. And then also like kind of that pressure in a negative way as well, those pressures to learn how to be a certain way through like posts and what we see in advertisements and stuff like that.
I love Twitter, but I hate it at the same time because it's like you go on and if people want to take a stance, it doesn't even have to be political, it can just be about anything. You would swear that like these people have PhDs and whatever they're talking about.
I like to be connected with my friends from back home, and they're very active in their social media. I could call them in FaceTime, but sometimes I think it's easier to just see what they're posting, and it's an easier way to see what they're doing all the time.
It was probably when I first started college, like away from home, all my friends and, in the other states, and needing to make new friends, needing to socialize, needing to be like present with other people and not being able to.
I think that people want to put out there what they think society wants, what their friends want. They want their likes. They want people to say, this is good. I like what you're doing. I'm on board with your cause or whatever it is. But they might not actually really be like that in normal life. They want everybody to think that, I'm okay, this is okay, everything's okay.
I think when we do that, we're trying to almost advertise ourselves in a way that's not always accurate.
Your clothing, or like how you, like how you build your home, or how you, how you even like arrange the icons on your laptop. Like no matter what it is, we're constantly like trying to convey who we feel like we are on the inside to everyone else around us. And so one of the express purposes, not just to keep in touch with your friends and family, which is what I think we all kind of tell ourselves to make ourselves feel okay with it, is that it's to create ourselves.
It causes a lot of dissociation when it comes to one personal life and what you want to be your life.
So we have this like act of creativity and creation whenever we're posting and we're manipulating our photos, and whenever we're making caption. It's all an act of like creation and saying to everyone who can see us, this is who I am. If I was unsatisfied with my life, like unsatisfied with the habits that I had, I could get on Instagram and collect pictures of things that I had done and make myself feel like I really was that person that I wanted to be, and make other people think that too.
Everything is really a competition anymore on social media. Whoever gets the most likes, whoever has the prettier photo, whoever can post so much, or like content quality. So in any capacity, I think is a little bit underlying, like, hey, am I the best or am I not?
For me, it was like this whole, it was just this like bottomless pit of like, I'm not that person, I want to be that person, but she's not me. That feeling of like kind of self-dread and self-hatred whenever your Instagram feed and your Twitter feed and whatever it is, it doesn't match like what your day-to-day life feels like. I think that's kind of where like that dissatisfaction starts with. Like the dissatisfaction is in your real life, it's not online. And that's what I felt like. Socially, I'm not connecting with people, even though online it looks like I am.
That creates such a denial of inside yourself, I think. I'm gonna put out here what I think people wanna see and what people are gonna approve of, and then turn around and then that's not what I think about myself all the time. And so now I have shame and guilt, then you just lose yourself.
After going through that cycle so many times and not feeling like I was really with anybody, even when I was with friends, it was like, I can't do anymore. Like it's never gonna be enough for me just to have a happy online life when there's like a real life out there that I could be living, and nobody, like even if nobody knows about it, at least it's satisfying to me. So I just nixed it all. It was like, starting from scratch. We're just gonna have Facebook so we can communicate with, friends and like family.
I feel like there haven't been enough studies to see how it psychologically affects people. Because I definitely know people who go on there, they can't handle it, they can't manage it. It's like, I'll go out with like some friends, and even to a pirate game, it's like they're not watching for themselves, they're recording so other people can see, and then they want to turn to me like, what just happened? It's like, dude, I'm not telling you, like, you had the chance to go experience it.
Society tells us that, you're not okay, you're just not okay. No matter what you do, there's always something better, and the internet provides you with that.
Social media definitely affects everyone's mental health in a way, because we don't realize, but there's so much social pressure when it comes to, well, let's see what picture I'm posting, how many likes am I gonna get, am I gonna get bullied for posting this picture of me, am I gonna get insulted, mocked. There's so many things that it goes through someone's mind in a conscious and unconscious level before posting a picture. There's so much work.
Do you think a lot of people are not living their own life?
I will say they are living their life, but with a lot of social pressure, and I would say that maybe they would live in a different way if they didn't want to impress all the time and pretend that they have a perfect life in their personal social media accounts.
Can people get addicted to their phones?
Absolutely, yes. I see it a lot. I've had many sessions with parents on taking phones as consequences. There's research that shows that the dopamine and the adrenaline actually increases the more stimulation that you get, whether you're looking at if you're playing a game or if you are excited about a post that you made or somebody liked your post. It gives you that immediate gratification. Those chemicals get released and you go back for more and more.
I just think it's gratification. You can go on your phone and I can feel something.
This is so stimulating. It feels so real, and it feels like you're doing something.
It's immediate. It's an immediate feeling. You don't really have to work for it because it just comes to you. I don't think they're healthy feelings, though, all the time. I don't think that they're genuine feelings. I think they're, invoked by something else.
It's easier, and there's so much less resistance to do that than to do something in real life where I have to physically move my body.
As we need all that immediate gratification, we lack patience, we lack tolerance, we lack the ability to take a moment and breathe and just be a part of society as it's happening in front of you, rather than just going to get what you need and then move on.
These emotional skills that allow me to ask deep questions and connect with you and make you feel loved and accepted, and to connect with you on a human-to-human level whenever if I'm so caught up in my image and in your image that I'm not able to meet you where you are in person, then that's definitely a loss on my part, and definitely a loss on anyone's part if that's kind of the direction that we're going in.
Now that face-to-face communication is definitely going down and people aren't realizing how to interact with people because they're spending so much time doing it over the web.
I see many kids that they're anxious. They think that people are looking at them funny. Can't go down the hallway at school because somebody said something about them or somebody read something somewhere and they think that they're talking about them. I think that the anxiety of what you look like, what clothes you wear, what your body looks like, whether you have acne or no acne, all these. So there's all these ways that the social media really affects how we present ourselves rather than just getting to know who you are.
I definitely have avoided my life by using my phone, and that's really scary.
They feel like they're missing something, and so they go to find something that is going to be a temporary fix or a temporary fill, but it's not long lasting.
When you turn the screen off, it just goes away. It just goes away, and there's this whole actual world, physical world in front of you.
That core person and your self-esteem and your confidence, your morals, your values, your internal conscience really needs to be developed as a person before you start looking outside of yourself. I feel like the minute you start looking outside of yourself, then you're critiquing yourself or you're comparing yourself to that person. Am I like this person? Am I not like this person? Can I be like this person? What do I like about this person? What do I don't like?
We can all relate to that feeling of being isolated, being alone, and watching from the outside. It's different than watching a television show where you know that they're actors and you know that these people are doing something just for show. But when it's your friends and your family, they're not actors. That's their real life, and you wish you were involved.
Sometimes I find myself thinking, how would things be for me if I was born maybe 2 decades before this one? Because I always thought that it was so much easier when there was no social media, phones were not a thing, so people would actually have to face someone and ask them out, and if you wanted to spend time with them, you couldn't just text them, you actually had to go there and be like, let's go and do something. I just think I would have worked better with something like that.
Would it not be so nice to just get a flip phone? I would love a flip phone. It would be so refreshing to just just call me. Just call me, and that's all I need to hear from my friends. If we don't need anything else other than just to text and call each other so we can get together.
My name is Liz Bailey. I'm 28 years old and I'm a bartender. I've definitely seen an increase of cell phone usage in the last 10 years in restaurants. 98% of people. There's only a handful of people that don't interact with their phones at all, but pretty much everybody in some way interacts with their phone while they're in the bar.
In certain groups of friends, like meeting friends of friends, out to dinner, meeting new people, and it's always kind of like an unknown as to whether, like, will we sit down for drinks at a bar and are they gonna pull their phone out the whole time or not? Like, am I gonna actually get to talk to them and meet them, or will they just play on their phone the entire time?
I really haven't seen people make an effort to put their phones out of sight, out of mind.
I can remember so many meals with people who I was friends with or wanted to be friends with, and sitting around at this table at a beautiful meal, like, at some cool restaurant we had been waiting to try, and no conversation going on, and everybody sitting on their phone, and then 2 hours later we finish the meal, and on Instagram it pops up these pictures of pictures of our meal, beautiful pictures, perfect composition of the photo and perfect filter put on it, and some caption about how like wonderful the meal was and how wonderful the friendships were, and just thinking like that's not what happened. That really wasn't it. We sat looking at our phones most of the time because nobody could think of anything to say, and we were all playing on Twitter and Instagram and catching up on our feeds, and it was just like, that was the reality of the thing. I can remember dozens and dozens of meals like that and dozens of experiences like that, and I found that like that is an acceptable experience for so many people our age. It's a shame because there's so much more.
Like I find myself sometimes when people come in with their AirPods, they come in and I don't really see them. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And they're just looking at me. I was like, if somebody, has their nose in their phone, it prevents me from doing my job. I can't sell you a beer if you're not paying attention to me.
When it becomes a point where you're ignoring people and that phone is more important than the people in front of you, that's too much. I think it almost needs to be regulated by that person, but I don't think that people even know that they're getting addicted to their phone.
I have had to be very conscious lately about my cell phone usage, especially my social media usage. I don't have any notifications turned on for any of my apps because I would tweet a lot, and if people liked it or retweeted it, I would get that notification, and then I'd be like, oh, well, who liked it? Click on it, and then I'd be in a Twitter hole for hours. So I turned all my notifications off so that I wouldn't do that, and then it ultimately backfired because I would just be like, well, I wonder if anyone answered me, so I would open the app anyway. So it did not work.
How many hours a day would you consider to be a healthy relationship with the phone?
The healthy amount in social media and what you're doing on your phone really depends on what's healthy and what's not. So I think you got to define what that looks like or what healthy is. If you're using it for emails and connecting with people in positive ways, I would say like an hour to maybe an hour and a half if you're sharing. But if you're just isolating and using it as a vice and you're using it, just to feed yourself all this, fast information, it's really, I would say, I wouldn't say any more than like 2 hours a day. I don't know if that's even possible.
Can you get your phone and check how many hours you spend daily?
Yeah. Now I'm nervous because I feel like this is going to be embarrassing based on what I said.
It says 4 hours and 30 minutes, which I will say I was traveling for basketball, so that goes up when I travel.
My daily average today was 4 hours and 35 minutes, which is actually down 18% from last week.
It says 5 hours a week, 5 hours, 11 minutes. That's not bad.
I mean, I'm about on track for what I expect to be doing.
To be quite honest, terrible. I should have done something better with my life than just being with my phone, I don't know. And the fact that I had to justify myself saying, oh yeah, I was traveling with the team on the bus for so many hours, probably it helped, but I don't think it has that much of an impact.
I can tell that I spend more time on my phone when I don't have work. So I think keeping busy helps a lot, but I think actively trying to spend less time on my phone is always a good choice.
I don't even do anything on Facebook. I like literally do not do it, and it'll tell me, oh, you have like 25 notifications. Look what you've been missing, or I really don't care because one, I'm busy. Two, I'm busy living life, like this life, the one that is in front of me, much more than looking at what other people are doing.
I mean, I find myself in my own relationships, my friendships, I'm like, hey, we gotta disconnect. Like, phone's in the middle of the table, let's just, be here. Because if I'm thinking about how many likes I have on Instagram on the photo I just took of my beer, then, who cares if I'm actually sitting here drinking my beer? You will remember the memory even if you don't take a picture of it, like you're going to remember it. You don't have to have 1,000 pictures, you don't have to have posted it anywhere. It really doesn't end up mattering if it was nowhere as long as you were actually there. I was raised in a family who, growing up, we had one computer for all of us to share, and then we had a landline, and it was like, things were just so different back then. We were paying by minutes, and if you accidentally clicked on the button to make your phone connect to the internet, woo! Like your parents you're getting talking to from your parents, and it's just bad news, and immediately you're like trying to turn the phone off so it doesn't connect to the internet, and you get charged that extra like $50 for like 1 minute of internet time on your flip phone. And so that's where we kind of are coming from at this age. Kids growing up now, I think that because they grew up in a moment where their digital life has been their entire life, and their digital life is so integrated into their real life. They've grown up where their parents may have had an Instagram account for them before they were even born, like they have follow, my baby Ella on Instagram, and they're posting pictures for them before they can even talk and walk. I've babysat kids who they know how to use YouTube before they can even spit out a full sentence.
That's what scares me the most, because the new generation coming up, I think they really struggle when it comes to interpersonal intelligence, because they're so used to talk through a screen that when it comes to actually talk one-on-one, they just freeze and they don't know how to do it.
We're running a social skills group here because they lose that connection. They get shy and they get internal, and they're internal in their head, and they're critiquing, should I talk to this person? Should I not talk to this person? How should I talk to this person? Because they're live and they're right in front of you.
It's so hard to say whether it's detrimental or not. We always come into new technology, I think, before we've fully thought out the repercussions of it.
They really, really, really are much more harder on themselves than ever. They constantly have something to compare it to rather than just be yourself. And all of that comparison over time, really, it takes its toll.
So who knows what will happen to these kids that are kind of growing up in a digital age. These kids aren't grown up yet. We don't know. Will they feel connected emotionally and physically with other people? Will they not need it?
When you have those human connections, there's a vibe in the room. There's a feeling that somebody feels. You and I met for the first time, and it's a nice thing to have that, I see your whole presence and feel your presence, and you feel my presence, and that is something that cannot really be replaced.
Lately I realized that through some friends that maybe passed away, that life is short, and I just do not want to have any regrets when I'm older. I'm going through college, I'm clearly going through, I wouldn't say one of the best years of my life, but I'm going through one of the most important years of my life when it comes to making relationships and just building new friendships. So I guess I just want to focus on that instead of just being with the phone, because I have my entire life to just sit in a room and be with the phone by myself.
I don't think everything needs to be documented through our phones for us to have an enjoyable life. We're living our lives to broadcast to other people instead of living it for ourselves.
There is more that you can go and have a meal and connect with people and go out and do some fun activity and come back with great memories and not have a single picture to show for it.
Everywhere provides you with the ability to stay connected, and having the opportunity not to be is kind of, I think, the route that we should be going.
If I were doing this with you over, over a screen, that screen automatically disconnects me from that internal feeling of being present and being moved by someone else's situation, and vice versa. What I'm doing, would also have an effect on, if I'm reaching for your hand or if I just, lean in closer. The warmth of my person would be there, and that person would feel that. And that's not something that you would get if just over the phone. I mean, you do, but you don't. Not the same. It's just not the same.
My life has gotten better since I have stopped using social media, but also, it's not just that, it's also like filling my life with good things. Who it was that I connected with and which activities I liked that gave me that sense of satisfaction, like I've done something that I'm happy with and I don't need to show anybody because I feel satisfied with what I've done. And once I figured that out, my life did get better because, I finished a day and I felt complete even though nobody knew about it. Like I didn't feel like I needed to tell anyone that like, hey, this is what I did, and look at my picture of how much fun I was having, because I already had the fun and there wasn't any fun left to be had by posting a picture. Like I didn't feel like that would add to the experience at all.
What we need to know, we do know. We don't always need to get it from, the social media. I think that the big things that happen in life, what's happening in our families, we hear about that because we're person to person with them. And I think that the social media has certainly limited our interactions in person, face to face, because you can just see them, are like, oh, yeah. And rather than actually going to go visit them or actually calling them on the phone, it's just very different.
I don't know how people continue to do it all the time. Continue to try to amplify their experiences beyond what they are using Instagram and using Facebook and Twitter. There's like real life to be had, and it is enough if you just do it, if you just participate in it.
Hold on, ask me that question again.
And
oh no! I'm sorry.
I don't know how to do it.
My phone's not even on my person right now.
It wouldn't be the first time that you've used me for bloopers. I'm just hitting my stride now.
I almost picked it up to take a photo of you two because it was so cute, and I was like, oh, this completely defeats the purpose of what I'm talking about.
I was texting, but then I saw this $20 off your first order of Uber Eats, which is really good.